Okay.
Yeah, planning board procedures for review of submittal of approved and not approved application packages,
Yes.
right there on
Yep.
E. That's where we left off.
Wait a minute, we'll be looking at this, Aaron.
Yeah, where do you have it?
I have this probably a little bit. But if that's where you have us,
Yeah, that's as far as we got.
because I had us with,
Holy cow, I hope nobody got hurt.
Nice fire truck
yeah,
or rescue.
Yeah.
section,
You see us further than this?
I don't know. Let me see, let's go.
That's where I marked.
Yeah, no, that was a couple times ago. We are a good bit further. Because I've got changes and things highlighted and things to be relocated.
I've been marking changes as we go through this, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see anything here. I know I wasn't asleep.
No. Because we
Because I've been writing.
yeah, we went
Notes on all this
through
stuff.
this. Yeah, we are.
Well, we can't be more than a page or a page and a half ahead.
Right here.
Let me see that.
That's where we're at. Right there at D.
D?
Yep.
So from E to D. What?
What's the subject on that?
It's once a preliminary subdivision application package is deemed complete. ... Oh, that's Mark.
You're on E?
How are you?
I could possibly.
Wow. Excellent.
If I was intended to be two of them.
That's right.
You're casual tonight, no bow tie.
I took it off. What's up?
So where we at?
Thank you.
Eric, we're on what now?
Um,
D, definitive subdivision plans for review process? That's D. Definitive subdivision plans for review and processing.
Nope. Section 5, subdivision review process, and a procedural process for review of preliminary and definitive subdivision plans. We started talking about the overview last time, technical review. So go back here. Take it back.
There's D.
Incomplete definitive. That's.
Yeah, there we are.
Well, we're gonna figure it out here. in a minute.
Yeah. I've got page like 19 or 20.
Well, these aren't, the pages
Yeah,
aren't
the
numbered.
pages
so-
No.
aren't either.
Yeah, that's it.
Was this an attachment to an email? Are you guys going through right now?
It was
I did
not
send it
this
to you.
past email. It was,
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
it was the
little
last
The
one
one
before.
There, general procedures. I have this section here, this approved / endorsed definitive plans only to relocate that, 1 and 2, that whole section.
Oh, you were gonna move that.
yeah,
Yes,
looks like
that's gonna get moved.
It's gonna get
somewhere
moved,
else.
it's not changed, it's gonna be moved.
Correct, we hadn't decided where that was getting moved yet.
All right.
So the delivery of the pre-application package we talked about coming then down to here, C1. Talked about
Complete
C2.
preliminary,
So we have
incomplete.
here.
One supplementary, okay.
Yeah.
Package has been deemed completed, okay, so once it's been completed.
What's on the top of the page? The very first item.
Complete versus incomplete preliminary subdivision
Here.
application package.
All right, as long as it's complete first.
Are you there, Pat, too?
I don't think I had this printed out.
You don't? Oh.
Somebody grabbed the TV and moved it. Okay.
Do you have it as an attachment? Can you cite it to me as an attachment?
Yes, I can, I think.
believe this is incomplete preliminary subdivision application packages. Once the subdivision package has been deemed completed. Form 4. Copy, town clerk 5. This is the distribution of the time.
That's the
Complete versus incomplete preliminary.
Yeah, that's it right there,
Yeah,
under
that's
C.
the one.
Yeah.
Yes, it's highlighted. So that's the one. So we're down at D.
Okay.
So right after I1 and I2 is D. And we were gonna move, so we don't know where we're gonna stick.
Okay, so
Review. So we're still haven't decided where we're gonna stick that. Okay.
I'm gonna go run a quick copy of this.
I'm gonna send it to him.
Yeah, just,
You're gonna say, so you don't need it.
Yeah.
You're good at reading it
I
on
can
the
make a
phone.
copy of it. I can make a copy. Take 2 seconds.
I was gonna just send it.
Because I need one too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, all right.
I just sent it to you, Mark.
Yeah,
If you-
I don't need a paper
Whichever you
copy.
want.
All right. You wanna go make a picture
I'll
copy?
just make with the residual.
Yeah, you can
See, it's some paper here.
Yeah, kill him more trees, right?
So I don't see anything wrong with D at all. With the exception that Michelle, the clerk, does not take applications unless I bring them to her. I think,
It says will be delivered.
yeah, I think that the way that this is stated is how it's supposed to be done, where the applicant brings it to the clerk stamps it, and then they submit it to us.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what it says.
That's the typical. because
That's typical, that's how it's
She's
been
the,
done.
she's the
Timestamps.
keeper of the records.
She is the keeper of the records.
Officially.
Now, she would say that, no, you submitted, I would submit a copy to her, have them stamped,
No.
but that's,
When you get into appeals,
yeah,
and you're in
it's,
Superior Court, they want to start with the filing with the town clerk,
Right.
tolls, a statute, or anything like that.
Right.
The date stamp and all, right.
exactly, what happens if I get busy
Yeah,
and I don't get to it
right,
until
and it's,
the hearing starts?
2 days later.
Yeah,
Right.
6 days later, 10 days later. I mean,
The clock starts with her.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think D is fine, the language in there.
Yeah.
Did you get it? Yeah.
Checklist of the town clerk, at which time the town clerk will stamp the cover of the 3 documents and provide the applicant with copies
Yeah.
of the cover bearing the town clerk's stamps.
Right. And the applicant shall provide a copy of the stamp, da 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 da, to staff.
And then then it's up to him to submit the stamped
Mm-hmm.
Form 4.
I think that's how it should work.
I don't know, it seems like the
that
flow
is
of
how it
these.
should work.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
can't, she,
No, yeah. Okay, so then F kicks in afterwards, which is, I think that's almost pulling right from state,
Mhm.
from the general law, so.
Mhm.
I think D, E, and F, I don't think we really touched those besides making
Seems
sure
like the
this
right
is town.
workflow. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. start with the clerk, you do the things there, then you move on to the sponge.
It's the whole mechanism of delivery.
Right. So I guess we can.
And distribution, once it's stamped.
Yes.
Right.
I think I think what her issue is that if it's not complete, if it's not a complete application, she doesn't know what's a complete or not complete application.
Okay,
But I don't think it matters.
No.
Right.
And I
No.
mean,
because if it's not complete, you reject it.
right.
Yeah, we rejected it.
Right. The
that's
planning board
before it
rejects
goes.
it at
Right.
that point.
It's gotta go to the planning board.
Right. You
Right.
just you take it regardless. I mean, if somebody comes to you and says, "I
Yeah.
need to file this,"
That's all she's doing.
okay, take and file.
That's it.
She's a
Received.
gatekeeper. That's it.
That's
That's it.
I mean, that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
I've been in this for 20 years. That's how it's been in every town I've worked for.
Yeah.
Gosh, we know it's too long.
No, that makes sense.
So, okay, so let's leave, are we good with D
Yeah.
and F, leaving them alone?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so move on to 4, prior to open public hearing.
Receiving the file that
When receiving the file.
shall.
Yep. Do we need to add in here that the planning board shall, or the planning board, or its staff, or something along those lines, or its designee? Or is that just unnecessary additional language? Under A, I'm sorry.
Under A,
Yeah.
It says the planning board.
Yeah, oh, it says the planning board shall. Or
Doesn't
it
define.
matter, or does it not matter? Whether the town
Oh.
does it or the staff does it.
Under A, upon receiving the filed preliminary subdivision application package, the planning board shall, doesn't say who the planning board, or.
Right.
Is that what you want?
And
some
I
verbiage.
don't necessarily want to add any verbiage, I'm wondering if verbiage is necessary.
no, I don't think so.
No, because it's the office.
Right, the office
Yeah.
itself
That receives
is,
It's the entity, it's not
right,
the board.
is
Okay.
responsible
Right.
for distribution to the
Yeah.
TRT, so.
Perfect, okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that, with the language, I just wanted to make sure that we're not missing a step or making mistakes, so if somebody says, well, your staff filed this and not you, so I'm appealing the decision. No, it's-
No.
Yeah, okay.
Get thrown out.
Verify that the town treasurer,
So. then-
taxes are paid.
Distribute a copy of the completed and filed application to departments. Schedule a technical review team meeting. Well, technical review meeting, I guess it's fine. I forgot if we had said that that was mandatory. Or if we had,
it is mandatory.
I don't think it's mandatory either. But it's shall.
I think we said it.
What's that?
That schedule a technical review meeting with the technical review team. I don't know that did we say that was necessary above? I gotta go back.
Well,
I think we said it was highly recommended that their benefit.
When we formed the tech review, we did it as mandatory because what it did was it cut it,
No, we didn't. We said it is,
no, back when we originally.
Back when
Oh,
they
originally,
formed-
okay,
when
so-
they
so
originally
the
formed
The
the
whole
tech.
idea was
yeah,
to make sure that, we were starting to get a lot of incompletes and short packages.
It was wasting your time.
And it was
Right.
wasting everybody's time.
yeah.
So it was a simple matter of send it to tech review,
Mhm.
get all of the applicants, we had some conflicting conflicting interpretations from department to department.
Mhm.
And one department would okay it, and then the other one would kibosh it, just put the kibosh to it.
Okay.
So the easiest and the best way to do it was sit everybody down at a round table. The developers loved it.
Mhm.
Because they got it through everything in at once. They got all their feedback at once, so now it goes back to it went back to the applying board. And I guess if somebody had some different opinions, or the citizens' response affected an application.
Okay, so yeah, going back to our technical review section, which is a couple pages. It's prior to the submittal of a preliminary or definitive subdivision application package. The applicant is strongly encouraged to meet with the technical review team. So we're not requiring an
Right,
application.
I remember that, we did that.
We're not requiring a technical review, a tech review meeting. So if down here we're saying the planning board shall schedule, we need to add something else in there that's if requested.
Well, I wouldn't make that I wouldn't make that planning board's responsibility.
It's that, again, that's where it's really the staff who's doing
Right.
1, 2, and 3.
Right.
I think that it should be scheduled technical review meeting if requested. Not,
Correct.
because we have nothing in there that says you have to do it under any of our things. that are saying.
Shall, if
We're talking
requested.
preliminary subdivision. I mean,
There's no clock ticking on that.
no.
No, shall if requested, that would
Right,
make
yeah.
sense, yeah. Works out.
So if requested, we're okay with
Mhm.
adding that language in there, okay?
Which makes a lot of sense, I mean, that's something, I think they're,
Yeah, I mean, it
for them,
It
for their
really
benefit.
helps the applicant just to do that, just to say, okay, we're.
Yeah,
Right.
Right,
They're gonna be able to make the corrections in an informal setting,
and come back with a better
and
plan.
then come back with a clean, better plan that is
that-
most likely an acceptable plan.
Yes.
There's no guarantees, but
But, and they'll also know that any cost for those changes that are associated with it, so they know.
And the thing is and we're talking preliminary
Right.
application, so there's no access concept only.
Right.
So, that might be the time that somebody does a tech review. It may be a time when they say, you know what, because it's preliminary, I don't want to do that, but I will for when I do this definitive. Fine.
It's their
But
choice.
we want to give them the option. Okay. So moving down to 1, distribution. Planning board staff shall distribute a copy of the completed and filed application to all departments. Well, we just said that. Do we need to,
No, you don't need to be redundant.
the applicant shall deliver a copy to the Board of Health.
Where are you? I'm trying to find where we are.
Oh, I'm sorry. On mine is page 22.
Page 22, thank you.
yeah, unfortunately, there's no page numbers.
Yeah, they're,
Nice thing about your computer keeps track of it.
we'll have to, we'll add them obviously in the final document, but. I think
That's their problem with one.
B, C, and D are fine. It's the first one's redundant, because you just said it in 2 under A.
Right,
So we don't need to say
so
it
it's
again.
filed, so.
I don't think we need to.
If you want to add TRT to the 2, that would be in front of departments. That would eliminate that A.
Yeah. And we'll just get rid of A. Which makes B A.
Say to all TRT
No.
departments, if that's what you want to say.
Okay, so then public hearing
Under
notification.
subdivision review process. It's not giving me page numbers on this attachment. I'm just trying to.
Are you, oh, what are you opening it?
Pre-application technical review.
Yep, you keep going down.
Which time?
So we are here,
Thank you.
just got rid of this here.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so we went through A, B, C, and D on that.
35 days is fine.
Planning board shall have a public hearing in accordance with MGL as amended. Yep. Planning board should provide notice.
To approval of
Mail it to the butters and parties of interest, yep.
15 days.
Project
advertise
webpage, look at it on the planning board's webpage, that, okay.
all the butters.
I don't see any. I don't see anything wrong with B at all. It's all stuff that we do. Now. C, during the public hearing process, all interested parties may make inquiries, request clarification, and or provide written or oral comments. Yep. Within 45 days, minus extensions. Planning board provides the written decision. That's MGL.
All comments received during the process of. Is that fourth return to, what is this, what the city clerks?
That should be town, but
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's also MGL also.
The only,
Again, there's several times
Yeah.
they're using city clerk.
Yeah,
That's
I got a comment, but
Sure.
we're not there yet.
Okay.
I'm just keeping the powder dry until then.
all comments received during the review process shall be taken under consideration for incorporation of the project prior to submittal. Yeah. Again, I think that is all MGL stuff.
I'm trying to remember, what's the effect of a denial of a preliminary plan?
What happens if they deny it? What's
Well,
the
you
next
have to give
course of
reasons,
that?
right?
Yeah, you have to give reasons.
So you're basically saying, if you come back, we're denying it for these reasons, if you address these reasons,
Yes.
we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Because we kind of do that now. Bef- I think we've been, historically, the planning board's been doing that more informally, where somebody just comes in front of them, an informational meeting.
Yeah.
We'll call it an informational. And they'll get comments from the board and the departments.
Right, and then they take it back and they
Absolutely.
thus correct whatever they're willing to do.
Yep.
To bring it back for a definitive plan.
Right.
So are we trying to
But
get them to do a preliminary, to get them through tech review, to get to a final process that when the real clock is ticking on an application,
It's,
we've got
It's
everything
smart.
done.
I think that's the theory behind it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of towns offer a discount if you do the preliminary and then within a certain time frame do the full definitive. We took that out during discussions here in the subcommittee, and then the planning board held a public hearing and voted on their fee schedule, which does remove that as an option. So it's, you have your preliminary payment of X, and then you have the definitive payment of Y, and there is no discount between the two.
Okay.
So,
The whole process was just a step-by-step, quick.
Yeah.
It was tech review, preliminary, then definitive. Tech review didn't cost anything.
right,
No fee for tech review. As we start ironing out any issues that each department might have.
Mhm.
They're gonna, although it's not definitive, what comes out of there, but, what comes out of tech review, but at least it lets you hone your project down to something preliminary that's ready for a public hearing and all of that. Then the public hearing on the preliminary provides information so that they can address a definitive plan.
Right.
Planning board then approves or denies the definitive plan.
or the preliminary. And then the thing is that somebody could come in and say, hey, I wanna do a definitive subdivision, here's my application. Never go to tech review, never do preliminary, and just shoot their shot. Which then we go back to that other process above where, okay, at that point, I'm still giving the same materials to everybody on the tech review team. It's just instead of us all meeting together to go over the project with the applicant, either prior to or just after submission, it's an individual review and then comments come in willy-nilly or not at all. I think that the tech review process is important, especially on a subdivision.
What's the ramifications of denial on a definitive plan?
Pretty serious,
Yeah, it's pretty serious. Yeah.
That's what,
pretty serious.
Yeah.
so it's denial,
So
are
somebody,
they allowed to come back?
after 2 years,
Yeah, well, it's 2 years. To go to ZBA, it's 7 years.
You gotta be a real serious procrastinator.
no, it's 2 years for
That's
ZBA too. If you deny something, it's still 2 years.
Oh, it's
2
still 2
years.
years, okay.
Now, there's clarifying language in there. It's 2 years unless you substantially change the project. So let's say somebody comes in
Okay.
with a 30 lot subdivision
Alright.
and doesn't go to tech review, just says, I'm shooting my shot, goes for the definitive. Planning board looks at it and goes, this doesn't meet any of our zoning. What are you thinking? None of this works. We're denying it for XYZ reasons. They come back and say, oh, okay, shot my shot, tried to get 30 lots. Then they do the tech review, they come to us before submitting again and say, I shot my shot with this, but planning board said no, for these reasons, now I'm looking at 12 lots.
Okay.
That's a substantial change to the project. If you go from 30 to 29, not a substantial
No,
change.
right.
And we can go to, we'd be able, I think legally we'd be okay to say, no, it's not a substantial change, we're not accepting that application. But again, somebody comes in with 15, 10, whatever lots, okay, that's a substantial change to your original application, we'll hear your project. I had a ZBA application a few years ago. They're applying for a senior housing and needed sewer. Sewer was, I think, like 2 miles away. It's sewer and water. Sewer was close enough they could tie in, maybe it was a quarter mile. Water was 2 miles away. So they applied to ZBA to not have those things. And it wasn't going well for them. No, this is ridiculous, we're not gonna go for this. And they said, well, we'd like to withdraw. And the board said no. So that's the other thing. Once you've opened a public hearing, it's not up to the applicant to withdraw anymore, it's up to the board to withdraw. Now, I said to my board, guys, let him withdraw.
Right.
Where's the harm?
Right.
And their whole attitude behind it was, no, this is, what they're proposing is way outside of the scope of the variance that they should be requesting for this type of development. They said, I think we're good, we can make a decision, and they denied it on the spot. So the guy's gotta wait 2 years to come back and reapply. Maybe there's a different board, maybe you can stack the board with people you like and get through your application, but as it sat, no way.
Well, that's why we try to offer people, if it's definitely gonna be denied.
Right, you offer them,
them the opportunity to withdraw
Withdraw.
without prejudice,
right,
Yeah.
so that they can come back the next week.
Yeah.
Or next month, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Give
With
an
a
opportunity
change to their
straighten it
project.
out and make it more acceptable.
and I think that's what
We're not
I think that's what you should always do. I mean, maybe not always. The majority of the time, that's 100% what you should be doing. Is a lot. I mean, where's the harm in allowing a project to withdraw? I don't see any harm.
Yeah, I mean, it's
90%
almost,
of the time.
it's punitive.
Oh,
It's
100%
really
it's punitive.
punitive to
Yeah.
not allow them to withdraw.
But there are times when you look at something and it's such a gross injustice of the zoning of your bylaws that, okay, hey, yeah, you forced our hand, so we're gonna take these steps. And it was a long process. I'm simplifying the public hearing. The guy came in arrogant and just,
There you go. There you go.
I mean, it was a lot.
It becomes a real contentious situation.
Well, no,
No, it wasn't a
it's
contentious situation.
It's I'm really not ready. I'm just throwing this
If
at
he's got a
you.
deadline to meet.
And I'm gonna have you guys do my
Figure
due
it out.
diligence and figure this out
Right.
for me.
And then on top of that, the
And-
guy put in a septic for 8 bedrooms to put in two bedroom. So 4 units total is what would have gone in, but it was, two bedroom. So it's a duplex with 2 bedrooms each on one, and then he wanted to build another one. And his whole argument was, well, we built this septic that was grossly oversized. And I said, okay, hold on a minute. We went and got the health director, and he said, there is no requirement for a maximum septic. There's a requirement for a minimum. We don't care how big you build the dang thing, as long as you meet the minimum requirements. So the board was like, okay, we're justified. You tried to circumvent, you failed. Oh well. Let's move on.
And that's how in one of the municipalities I worked, we'd have these, 7-month public hearings.
Mhm.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Right? Where the developer gets basically their due diligence met by the town. Change this, do that, do this. Because they never actually front-loaded the effort up front.
And wait to see what they can get away with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the planning board did that, and not quite to that extent with Boulder Park. It was 16 Boulder, and it was this long process of here's this application, and in the meantime, from when the hearing opened to when we got them to withdraw, it was like 9 months. And there were people on the planning board who weren't there at the beginning. There were people who had left it. I think, Mark, you might have been on the planning board at that point and then left and were on the select board at that point. So, I mean, it was a little nutty, with this whole process. And finally we said, we don't even have enough members here who could approve your application with a supermajority because of
Changes to the board.
changes to board and changes to membership.
Yeah.
You have to withdraw. So in that situation, yes, the hearing had opened. We allowed him to withdraw without prejudice. So he came back in with a different project. I mean, even if it was with prejudice, what they came back with in this specific instance would be a substantial change, and we would have had to allow that public hearing to go through. So, long way around to say, yeah, let him withdraw, but we don't have to. And changes. Okay, so 3 ABC, good. Moving on to definitive subdivision review process. This is not.
The only thing I wanna,
Oh, sure.
complete versus incomplete definitive subdivision application package. Am I ahead of you, or did we just, paragraph 2, delivery of definitive
Under C.
under C,
Okay.
Complete
paragraph
versus-
2, incomplete.
Yeah, we're an incomplete definitive.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not quite there
we're
yet.
not quite there yet,
No.
alright.
So we are on just up a page on.
Section of regulations for applicant and or developer reference only. That's that planning board.
Yes, yeah. This section of these regulations is for applicant and or developer reference only.
Right.
This section outlines the planning board's review process for definitive subdivision to ensure that all definitive subdivision application packages are reviewed adequately and consistently. Is that language we need? And the formatting is all messed up. We'll figure the formatting out after. Is that something we need to include in there at all? Like a disclaimer?
I don't think it hurts to say this is how we do business in this town. Like, we're setting expectations with you,
Yeah.
so you're not wondering.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it being there, it's a little strange that it's
And you
there.
have another paragraph that says strongly recommended.
It says right here, it says the applicant may request a meeting with the planning board administrator for review of the application and or.
Right, you jumped ahead.
What was that?
Under one, pre-application?
Yeah,
Prior to the finalization, the applicant may request a meeting with the planning board administrator. I would change that to technical review team. For the review of the application and or.
May, but is strongly recommended.
Yes. Well, actually, why don't we take out may and just say it's strongly recommended? It's strongly recommended to request a meeting with the TRT for the review of the application and or subdivision plan. During such meeting, the TRT shall or can provide review of the application or
Shall.
Shall provide review of the application and or subdivision plan for conformance with section 7 and 8 of these regulations. Answer questions regarding the process and or conduct a site visit. Yeah. Two, prior to the drop-off of a definitive subdivision application package, the applicant shall schedule a meeting with the planning board office for the delivery and review of the application. Such meeting will take approximately 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the filing, for minor or major definitive subdivision plan review. I don't know if I want to limit my time.
I was just gonna say, is that enough time?
Typically it is. I mean, I'm gonna go, if somebody submits an application, I do like to go through it with them to make sure that, okay, you have Form C, here's the payment, here's this, here's that, here's our checklist, you've made all
You're
the.
just gonna go through the.
Yeah, just go through everything. It might take more if somebody's got a million questions, okay, what do I do next? What do I do this? When are you gonna do this? It might take an hour and a half.
Well, here it just says
So take the time
approximately.
clock off.
Right? We don't need that language
The
in
planner
there.
will provide us the time that's necessary to review.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, delivery and review of the application, period. We're gonna go over your application when you submit it to make sure that you're submitting a complete application so that we don't have to go through C.
Right, time is
Down below.
necessary.
During the scheduled definitive application, whoa,
Drop off too.
why is it scheduled? I don't wanna schedule drop-offs for applications.
you shouldn't have to.
I think we need to get rid of scheduled there.
So do it.
Yeah.
You don't have time for that.
No, if somebody comes in, doesn't matter when it is. I don't want somebody, if somebody wants to call me and say, hey, are you gonna be around at 2:00 to accept my
I think you're gonna need
application?
a little bit of time to schedule an appointment.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Right.
Otherwise, it's a drop off.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's somebody coming in, for an if somebody comes in for whatever application, maybe we had a guy come in the other day for,
Today, we had some people come.
Yeah, we had, yeah.
Just talk about.
yeah,
You look kind of foolish sitting there at your desk and
yeah.
you got 15 minutes and the guy comes in and says, I got something, gonna take 20.
Welcome to
Well,
my
you
world.
know, I can't give you the time.
Right. Oh, gee, I only scheduled
It's
for
kind of
15 minutes.
productive to what we
no.
really should be.
Right.
We're supposed to be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be expeditious.
Right. And I mean, maybe in here, maybe we want to say, and maybe in the section above that, this says that the applicant shall schedule a meeting with the planning board office for review and delivery.
Change it from shall to can.
Yeah, may schedule a meeting with the planning board. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I think that the may schedule,
Yeah.
and then removing scheduled from B makes more sense. So we can move on to C.
Yeah, and it says, the administrator may provide review of the application and/or, not can, but change it to may. Provide review of the application and/or subdivision plan for performance, blah, 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 and
Are you on C?
on
B.
A,
Okay,
I'm sorry, E1A. Near the bottom of this page. Right.
We're okay now.
yeah.
So this is May.
During meeting, TRT shall provide review. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, applicant may schedule a meeting with the planning board office for review and delivery. Then during the scheduled, getting rid of scheduled, definitive application package drop off to the planning board office, which we'll change that to land management. PB staff will review the definitive subdivision application package, review the subdivision process with the application, prepare a timeline, answer questions, schedule TRT, and open the public hearing. Yeah. All of that is standard. It's what we do now for every application that comes in. I don't think there's anything there that is outrageous. Okay.
So for the definitive, they have to go back to the tech review. They should.
They should. So
It's up to them,
it's the
right?
same thing as the schedule the tech review if they request it. So if somebody comes in and says, here's my application package, and I'd like to schedule a tech review meeting. Okay. That gives us the time to,
Because I see that, you know, it's optional for tech review, so if someone comes in for so they come in for the first tech review, and then they come back for the definitive. If they don't come back for the definitive, how does the tech review know they made changes?
they don't.
They don't.
That's, again, that would be something that would be done during that process. So now we're on to the definitive. So you're right, if somebody came in with tech review, well, you know what, they would know because I'd still have to submit everything to the departments.
Well,
So it's whether or not there's a meeting, whether or not there's a tech review meeting, you're still gonna get all the application materials.
tech review doesn't approve or deny or plans. All they do is provide guidance to
Correct.
achieve whatever you need.
Right.
There's no orders that come out of tech review, I don't think.
No, there's not. There's review and there's suggestions.
Right, and that's it.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about tech review knowing that certain things are done or not done. Because what's gonna happen is that when the presentation comes to planning or definitive, you're gonna find, like I said, who cares that they don't accept the information and run with it from tech review? They're only shooting themselves in the foot
Mhm.
by not having a correct plan.
Right.
And the other way, I mean, the only way around it, if there is something with it that's challengeable or you can get a variance for or something like that, that's up to them to secure that variance and all of that before they come in for their definitive. You're not supposed to have variance applications and hearings and all of that in the middle of a definitive application. You gotta clean up your home, get your homework done first before you come in, so. Again,
I mean,
it's not up to tech review at that point now, it's,
I think on top of
Okay,
that,
applicant.
I would argue that if you're submitting a new, especially a subdivision, you shouldn't have a variance application before you submit for a new subdivision. It's a very different thing if there's an existing subdivision with existing lots and there's one lot left and it doesn't meet today's frontage
I don't,
and you go for a variance for the frontage. That's a, I would encourage somebody to do that all day long.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
But if somebody comes
Was
in
some
and they've
type
got
of
10 acres of land and their access is 20 feet, and they come in and say, well, I want to get a variance to allow the roadway, but then that 20 feet, and then, I'll bet it up to this subdivision. Right? No way. Why, what's the town's obligation for us to offer you a variance for that kind of a process? Where's the, on one hand. On the other hand, I think that we should grant those things, but.
well, I mean, that's what ZBA is for, though.
Right, but no, I'm saying that if
So
you
they can't
have,
come in with a plan
right,
if they haven't gone to ZBA to get their
right, but there shouldn't,
variance for
Yeah,
frontage.
before the
Yes.
fact, not after the
Right.
fact.
right,
Right. I mean, I know a couple of areas where there are only 10-foot roads.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
10-foot roads going into 50 acres of land.
right, but, should a variance be granted for that so that it can be developed into 20 homes? I don't know.
That's what the public hearing process is
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Sometimes things change over the years, things change.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, anyway. Complete versus incomplete definitive subdivision application package. If an application package is complete and conforms to the requirements of sections 7 and 8, then the planning board office shall sign Form 7, definitive subdivision application. Town clerk. Planning board shall also provide the applicant with Form 10 or Form 11, the checklist, which shall also be filed with the city, town clerk in this case. The only things in here that I am not sure yet is I don't know that we have Form 10 and Form 11, the checklist. Yet. So it's something that either we will develop or we will come back and revisit this later. I'm gonna just make a note to revisit that and we'll highlight those things. Oops. The last sentence I'm gonna highlight. There we go. Okay. Incomplete. If an application is incomplete and or does not conform to the requirements of the sections that you may have, and no waivers are requested for submittal relief, then the PB office shall not sign the Form 7, okay, and not provide them with the, oh, wait a minute, nope, not sign it, and will provide them with the form identifying the deficiencies that need to be resolved and resubmitted for review. At such time, the applicant shall be given an opportunity to make the application complete. Incomplete applications cannot be deemed filed until such deficiencies have been resolved.
In no event shall an incomplete application be held for any longer than,
Yeah,
at what point do you boot them out?
Just a timeline, yeah. Should be some sunset.
I think an incomplete application just shouldn't be accepted, period.
Well, you're allowing them to rectify there's gotta be some kind of a timeline if you're gonna allow them to rectify.
Well, that's on the.
No, but it's,
That would,
the problem is if,
You've got
once an
definitive
application
plan.
is submitted, timeline starts. Timeline starts at 65 days to open a public hearing.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
but you're giving them a notice. Here's Form 10 or whatever.
11, right?
Yeah.
It's not,
Change this, do that, missing this.
right,
45 days have gone by. This says it's not deemed filed until the checklist on that sheet is resolved.
Right.
either
And I
time.
just wanna put
Sunset.
something in there, 45 days.
It's gotta be more, it's gotta be sooner than that because I mean, looking at
Well-
advertising.
Yep.
I mean,
14 days?
depends on what needs to be done.
right.
I mean, sometimes.
I mean, that's the thing.
If it's a correction,
I mean, if somebody submits something and they submit, you
if
know,
it's something that depends on a third party, like.
Right.
Variance or something, yeah.
well, not even that. It's,
Or corn dam.
Yeah, wetlands.
I mean, I think the only
delineation.
thing that I could potentially look at and say, okay, I understand we can resolve this during the public hearing process, would be something where you have, where your road is coming out to a state road and you don't have DOT approval yet. My hiccup with that is you don't have approval to access your property. So regardless of how you look at it, you don't have access or
Right, I kind of agree, there should be a drop dead date instead of waiting for the applicant to, he's got, say, 45 days.
So
I'd
that
say
you're
30
covered.
days
That you're covered.
or 35 days.
Okay, that
at
you
the
don't,
most.
you don't have to be calendaring these dates.
Right.
This is on them.
Yeah.
So nobody can come back to you and say, well, hey, you didn't act on it. It's your problem.
Or he's got the other to withdraw.
Right.
The other option is withdraw.
Okay.
If you're not sure how long it's gonna take, or there's other complications, withdraw.
So we need to add a new sentence in here. And
Can you tell I've been here before?
shall
So what are you doing in this, motion with the boss? Getting your brownie thing? No. I might have to get up and boogie.
incomplete definitive application shall be given 35 days from submittal to resolve any deficiencies. After 35 days, the applicant shall withdraw the application.
She'll often withdraw without prejudice.
Without prejudice.
Or,
I wanna make sure.
Definitive plan will be rejected. Or denied.
Down. That's the head contract.
Well, so at that point,
we gotta look at the,
you'd still have to,
I think you have to render a decision, don't you?
you'd have to open the public hearing, close the public hearing. So at that point, yeah, so the problem is that you
If
can't
the
say,
app-
you
if
can't
the
say the
app-
applicant shall withdraw. Shall be given the
I'm telling you,
opportunity.
shall or may.
The applicant shall be given the opportunity to withdraw the application, or the board will take act, because constructive approval,
Right,
is-
that's if the board takes no
law.
action on that.
you take no action.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah, so
to
I'm not
approval.
saying take no action.
No, no,
I'm
no.
saying,
You're
No,
saying
no,
or,
you don't.
or, and I'm saying,
That's constructive.
board action shall be taken to deny the plan.
exactly, that's what you're trying to say.
That was, shall.
You know, it's either withdraw or we're gonna deny it. It's easier for you to withdraw it better.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can we say, shall take unfavorable applications. I guess we don't really want to be negative.
Shall deny the plan for the reasons given
Right, you've already,
in the,
in your checklist.
in the submission response.
Don't try to be nice and you become ambiguous.
Shall deny the plan for the
Yeah.
You
reasons.
run the danger of becoming ambiguous.
I know. I don't want to be ambiguous, but I don't want to.
So if we give a checklist, right, boom, here's your checklist, we need this, we can't act on this.
We need stormwater. You haven't submitted stormwater.
They're on vacation, all right, they're out of the country. Clock's ticking,
Withdraw that application.
can you please withdraw the application? And,
Or you can apply for an extension.
or apply for an extension? No,
No, can't.
No.
because
Have
there's
a public
no,
hearing.
So the problem is
Have problem with
you
public-
can and you can't.
I mean, we do it,
But so that we're talking, somebody submits their application May 1st. From May 1st, there's 65 days in which the board has to open the public hearing. So if there's deficiencies on May 1st, we are giving them 35 days to correct those deficiencies, come back to me, to the tech review team,
Video and audio.
correct everything. That gives us enough time to advertise a hearing and hold the hearing within that 65-day window in which we have to open the
so
hearing.
you're gonna do everything within the 30-day window now,
Yes.
from the time of correction, the drop dead date of correction.
To the opening of the hearing.
So give them 30 days, why 35, give them 30 days to do the correction.
Well, that's mathematics, that's.
35 works.
65 days, 35, so that leaves
Yeah.
30 left over.
Yeah, that works fine.
That was good.
Yeah. So 65 days. If somebody comes to and says, day 35, I don't have
what you need.
what you need. I'm going to say to them, okay, you need to write me a letter stating that you wish to withdraw the application without prejudice. Because otherwise, timeline's ticking.
That's it.
The board's got to open that public hearing. They don't have a choice because they do not have a complete application. They have to deny the application.
Right.
And it's going to be with prejudice.
And you would have
Because it's a
advertised,
denial. It's not a withdrawal.
and you would have advertised already,
I would have
You've
advertised
already, that's
already.
the public hearing,
It's
yeah.
right, yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
it's all already in the works.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to say that, you know. The problem is the board has
Read
the
it back.
option, so,
Read it back.
okay. After 35 days, the applicant shall be given the opportunity to withdraw the application without prejudice,
Yes.
or the planning board shall,
Or failing that,
okay, or,
failing that.
At the senior center, the last
planning
one.
board
And so they're going to.
Planning board shall open the public hearing.
And next Friday is, part of
hearing
our birthday,
within
projects, and Wilson Martin
65
has
days from
29 volunteers
submittal.
that are gonna come that day,
And
and so some of
deny
them
it.
will do the garden.
For the reasons.
And so the problem is they could withdraw, they could allow them to withdraw without prejudice after the hearing is opened. They have that option by state
Yes, they
statute.
still have it.
Birthday's the 20th.
So, so shall open the public hearing within 65 days from submittal and
Friday also.
shall take appropriate action.
Appropriate action.
Okay, what do we think?
On the 26th. on
In the
Arbor Day.
discretion of the board.
Yes, Friday.
Yeah, then we're still within state laws.
At the,
Because the appropriate action could be, yes, okay, your engineer passed away.
so that's gonna be.
Completely understandable. Of course you're not gonna get things from him.
Um,
No problem.
Then the following day, on Saturday.
Or he was arrested and, you know, or whatever.
Hit by a car.
Hit by a car.
It's gonna be some painting.
Yeah. So our appropriate action after that point is, yes, we will allow you, we will withdraw this.
Yeah. At that point, you tell the individual, apply for a withdrawal without prejudice.
Yeah.
Save yourself a lot of
Right.
continuation after the gun, after the gun.
And the thing is, it's that you've got that 35 days. The guy gets hit by a bus on day 30. You got 5 days to tell me to come and say, hey, not the applicant, but their engineer or whatever. You know, you got the time there to say, okay, hey, this is not gonna happen.
I can tell you, unfortunately, I mean, let's put the shoe on the other foot now. We have a planning board, the guy is on vacation, he's trying to get back from Florida. He can't get back from Florida because of a snowstorm. The hearing is scheduled, and he's absent, so now it becomes constructively approved. There's no way that he can apply for an extension or anything. He doesn't, let's put it this way.
You mean the applicant is
No, the
stuck?
board would have to go to him and say, we don't have a complete board today. And there were extenuating circumstances of weather.
Yeah, in those situations, continuances, we have grace for continuance. We have 90 days. The board has 90 days to act after the opening of the public hearing,
Yeah,
unless extensions are granted. So yes, if
okay,
it's,
so you can buy an extension beyond the 90 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
and it
We
could be
try not to
continued.
because it's not fair to the public.
Well, no, I
Right,
understand
it's
that.
not fair to
I
anybody.
do. It's not for anybody,
Anybody,
but
or any participant.
hey, you know, sometimes it happens. Somebody, you're right, somebody dies, they get in a car accident outside the meeting and can't make it in.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I mean, it's a case by case basis. You're not, somebody refuses to withdraw after that 35 days with an incomplete application. Okay, you're gonna treat that very differently than somebody says, my engineer's, in the hospital with pneumonia, you can't fix these plans within that time
Yeah,
frame.
no, as long as the board's feet are not held to the fire.
Right.
There's a mechanism for it,
Mhm.
then the
Yeah, and
applicant
this-
will have one.
yeah. Yep.
If we're held to our feet are held to the fire,
So should the applicant.
so should the applicant.
Yes, I agree.
So if the engineer dies, find somebody else as a representative for you and take it for what it's worth
Mhm.
at that point. But again, we're supposed to be helpful.
Okay. Moving on to D. Once a definitive subdivision application package is deemed complete by the PB office or whatever, and then the applicant shall deliver Form 7, the application submittal, to the city clerk receipt. One copy of the original form, minor subdivision. So these will, one copy of an original Form C, it should say Form C, because we don't have Form 8 and 9. And then the checklists to the clerk.
So Form 8 and 9 are Form C in our vernacular.
Yeah.
So that means Form 10 is out also.
Yeah,
Well, no, yeah, we'll call it.
we're gonna renumber it.
It'll be like Form E or Form Z or Form
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
We'll readdress that.
Redo the list.
So it's saying that they're gonna file all the stuff with the clerk.
Right.
I'm just gonna highlight that to revisit the Form 10 thing. Oops. Okay. Applicant shall provide stamped copies to my office. Yes, that's fine. Upon receipt. One original form. C. Change that. And Form 10, whatever the checklist is. Rather stamps of the clerk. Applications shall be deemed filed. Preliminary application package shall be deemed filed. Why does this talk about preliminary? think that the preliminary subdivision application package shall be deemed filed, goes away. And the appropriate timeline shall commence in accordance with the MGL section, 90 days non-resident, okay.
Yeah, just drop that and just say and.
Yeah. And the appropriate timeline shall. Okay.
Is it 90 days for a non-resident subdivision?
Well, that's what it said. We'll double check. I'll double check these.
Doesn't say.
I'll double check to make sure that whatever the timeline is.
It's not, yeah, okay,
That-
90 days.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And 135 for residential?
Without, yeah, that did not have a preliminary.
In 45 days, they have not elapsed.
Yep.
We're good with
That,
that.
I'm gonna check that timeline and make sure that we're,
45 is,
yeah, that we're okay with.
that's 65.
Prior to opening the public hearing, on receiving the filed application package, planning board shall verify with the treasurer. And all local taxes have been paid, distribute copy to TRT, schedule a technical review team meeting. And then down below, we say that they shall meet with the TRT. We changed that at some point, or I changed it, I don't know.
Going back to copies, paper, or, thought we talked about electronic. Do we, in the very beginning when we started?
Yeah. Are you, you mean in like D and E and F?
Yeah, in the very beginning, I'm going back a few meetings ago,
Yeah, no, those have to be paper because they're stamped by the clerk.
Okay, but how many? One,
One.
and that's it. That's it, we're talking about copies.
And again, that's one of the things with everything is now becoming electronic. There has to be one copy. There has to be original stamp and signature on it to prevent forgeries and all of that. And it should be sealed as well, and a single copy kept on file along with a disc.
Right.
The
Or a
disc,
thumb drive or whatever. Yeah, we need to have
whatever
the digital copy is.
whatever the digital is, and then, that way we don't have to carry
Oh, yeah.
plans, mounds and mounds and mounds of paper. All we do is we go, the fire department go to the file, they can peruse it, and they can pick out which
What
plan they want.
And then they can
So
put their,
they're not stuck with,
put their comments to the side electronically in red or whatever color, and everybody has their piece
Well,
of
we had
it.
talked
I mean,
about
what's
this.
the number? It's like thousands of dollars for all the hard copies. If you did all the hard copies, and each department, I mean, it's really.
Oh yeah,
cumbersome.
to every department, absolutely, it's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah, we won't do it.
This way, electronically, you put your comments, you put the date of the comment, should something change, then you go back and re-comment, and all that's there, you got your whole trail, from the police, the fire, and everybody else that chimes in on that particular
And
section.
we have been talking about creating all of the forms that we have, our new forms, and putting them up on OpenGov so that people can apply right from the online portal. And we can put those stops in that, okay, this has to, you're doing a definitive subdivision. It needs sign off from the health department. Here we are, this goes to the health department. It has to go to the clerk. So giving the thing to the clerk.
This was too loud.
No, sorry. Yeah. She's not that much.
Just-
Let's get the techno and the strobe lights out.
But that.
But we still need we need a couple.
One copy.
we need, I mean, we have it specified on our forms,
Right.
the number of copies, we're gonna stick with that.
Yeah.
We'll address that, we'll change this as necessary. Yeah, so we take all that stuff, because the clerk has to have a copy of everything. I need to have a copy of everything. And ideally, I'd like to have a copy that we can put out on out on our bench or table thing,
For
whatever.
public,
For public perusal. Yeah. In addition to that, yes, we want the digital copy, so everything goes up on the website. So,
the printer, again, I fall back on the Shrewsbury project. Shrewsbury project is, if the department, say fire department, needed a copy of a couple of pages or whatever, they go up to the central files and they tell them I need a copy of page 1, 2, 3, and 6 and 5, or 6 and 9 of the, and they only get what they need. It gets printed out. Not everybody can have one of those printers. And it's really cumbersome to have them at the building or your office printing out as people need it, on demand. It's not something that's done usually on demand.
yeah. Now, if we have a digital copy, yeah, we do it because it's easy.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it for the fire department unless they specifically request it, because they can look at it on a monitor. And yeah,
Now, as this thing is going through its migrations of comments and stuff from the various departments and everything, does the public get to see any of this electronically at some point? Are we thinking, I thought that's where
Yes.
we're
It
headed.
becomes
So
public record.
comes
Yeah.
public, so
once
they can
it's-
see
once
what
it's filed, it's
each
all-
department has chimed in.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that where we're headed?
Well, like I would do it
On
at tech
open
review.
Yeah.
I would review and do it on tech review. And then if they made those changes, they bring it back. I'll do, send it to me, I'll get a copy of the plan
So,
and take a peek at it.
It's kind of two different things. Like, so the sign-offs,
Yeah.
the application requires that. So that's got to be, in my mind, that has to be a physical signature on the, which we have that block. If you recall our forms,
Right.
like for subdivision, we have the block for town clerk, for planning board, and for the health department. So those sign-offs have to happen on that form, like an actual physical sign-off that has to be on those forms. Things such as, did the fire department review this? Yes, because because it's able to move forward. So there's a sign off somehow, but we'll have to figure out how, what kind of sign off that is through that tech review process is I think where we're gonna do that.
That should be a pretty simple thing. There either is decision or suggestions or no comment
Or no
necessary.
No comment
Simple
or
as that.
comment or no comment, right?
Right.
And you get, everybody's able to see
Then
it.
you're committed to
I think we have
signing a
some,
form.
I think we have some forms for tech review that we can use for that.
But on the signature block, couldn't you add fire department? Couldn't you add other departments?
I think we could, but I think the planning board would rather see what those comments are that were made. And then, I think they'd like to see those comments.
Well, this
So-
forces the department to actually do it.
Right. And we see the
Yes, but
comments.
if we have a tech review, so we say in here that they shall meet with the tech review for a definitive.
Mhm.
So if they shall meet with the tech review,
Maybe that's why you had changed it or it was changed.
no, well, this is for definitive. For preliminary, who cares if they meet? Definitive, yes, they absolutely should. So we have that sign, I think we just develop a form that's, fire department, comments, sign off. Building, comments, sign off. Planning, comments, conservation, DPW, police, town manager, whoever, all the people who are involved in the tech review process. And if we have that sign off, that gets included, gets scanned in, we put it up on the website. So yes, the public would get to see,
That's what you want. You
okay,
want-
so the fire department reviewed this at tech review
you
and
wanna
they
see the
saw
whole-
that the applicant is not proposing any fire hydrants on 1,000 foot of road or 2,000 feet of road, and said, nope, they need to provide 2 because of whatever regulation.
Right.
That gives the public, yes. So that we go on the website, it's not a time for them necessarily to interact with the comments, but it would be a time for them to
Could be,
to
it
say,
would, you
okay,
know, then when it comes to the public hearing, people would come to the public hearing already informed.
yes,
So you would want them to not replicate what's already been said beyond what's already been said, something that hasn't been thought of, as opposed to something that already has been brought up and rectified or commented on.
Tech review, is that mandatory?
for
Yeah.
definitive, it is,
Okay.
yes.
No, I mean, for the agents, is it?
To attend,
Yeah, to attend. Okay, that's what I thought.
but that's, and so there's the
That's why
thing,
the sign off.
if they don't attend and they haven't signed that form, then it means that they weren't part of the tech review process. That doesn't mean that they're not doing a review.
Right.
So, let's say that
So it's
there's a fire and they can't attend.
Yeah.
So they review,
It
On
doesn't
their own.
prevent them from making comment further down the stream.
correct, and it doesn't prevent, it does, yeah, exactly. So they don't come in at tech review, fine, because they weren't there. They review and they check it out after. There's nothing, we can take their comments and add it to that check review sheet. Just say reviewed on XYZ date.
Okay.
You know.
They get the
It's
opportunity to
just
go back
outside
to
of-
the applicant directly,
Mhm.
or just respond to the planning board saying,
Correct.
we have
Here's the outstanding
concerns and this
issues
is
or
what we're looking
concerns.
for.
Yes.
Alright,
With it being after 7, do we want to? I mean, we're starting at a new section prior to open the public hearing. It's a good place to stop for this evening. What do you think?
it's up to you.
You want to end it today?
I'm
I
fine,
don't mind, yeah.
whatever.
Not at all.
Good enough?
Yes.
And 4/7 mark this 4/17.
It's been a long day, for sure.
Yeah.
And then rules and regs, those were sent out to you guys for consideration.
You got some checklists and form stuff to do. You got some-
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got plenty
we'll-
of stuff to,
I think I'll look at wait until we get through the rest of this to really start to develop those because and I'm gonna try to find them. This just came from Framingham, so I'm gonna try to steal theirs and adapt as
The
necessary.
forms, just so you guys know, forms, ABC,
Yeah.
put it into OpenGov, it's not gonna look like the way we
Right,
try
it's
it.
not gonna look like
It's
our
not, it's
ones.
not gonna look, I can't get it,
That's okay, I'll work on that with you.
yeah, you just can't get it to look like
That's
what
fine.
you wanted it to.
So the forms that we have currently, the new forms that were just approved, they are up on the website along with the fee schedule. They are all fillable PDFs.
Okay.
So somebody can fill them out right there and then just download it already filled out, sign it and submit it. And I think I did not allow signature blocks. To do a digital signature, I just, for some things I think it's fine, but for something like this that could be appealed and anything else, I'm not liable that signature on there. Call me old fashioned, call me
No,
crazy, but
No.
I just gotta be,
it would be,
As far as bylaw amendments, I think you guys have my
yeah,
working copy.
yeah,
And
I've read part of it, not all.
there's a lot in there that we'll be looking to change. I think, Patrick and I had a situation the other day where a guy came in, and the use that he wanted to do is only allowed by special permit, and he wanted to do a food establishment. I won't get into it beyond that because it's still preliminary. But it's not allowed unless he does a site plan review and special permit in our village, and it's in the village.
In the village
downtown.
district,
Yeah.
yeah, overlay, yeah.
It's just things like that just, I think we just kind of have to look at these things on a case by case and use by use basis and say, does this make sense?
To have, make them go through all those hoops.
Does it make sense for somebody to have to jump through all these hoops for special permit, site plan review for a food establishment in the place where we want to encourage people to come, to shop, to visit. If we want to draw people to downtown like our master plan says, right? Is the special permit process a way to get people to, move on and do these things downtown? I just don't think it is.
It's kind of overkill.
It's definitely overkill.
What would be appropriate?
Either by right, depending, I think we may have to expand the use of it. Is, you know, we're talking food establishments, so restaurants, things like that, without a drive-through. Do we allow that by right? Do we do it just by site plan review? I think a special permit is above and
I
beyond.
think site plan review, I think they're gonna.
And site plan review with a public hearing.
Well, a public hearing.
Can we propose that language? Do we have to, how do we get it approved?
Yeah, so we're gonna go through the entire bylaw. That's just one thing that popped up recently
Okay.
that was, you know, both Patrick and I looked at this, we're like, what in the world were the people who added this in, you know, before either of us worked for the town before.
I mean, you want your checks and balances, but you've gotta have a balance to the
Right.
checks and
It's,
balances.
it's a food establishment. The Board of Health is gonna
Exactly.
make sure all that stuff is great.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And you're not talking, I mean, let's face it, we're talking downtown, village business district. You're not building a new building.
Right.
You're taking an existing building, which has existing uses and, you know,
The site plan- yeah, the site plan
Rita's
has
haberdashery has moved out and I want to open up Rita's Italian Ice or whatever. Now we need a special permit and site plan review. I think site plan review is good because it's going to check parking, it's going to check lighting,
Parking.
landscaping, you know, all of those
Bathrooms,
requirements.
ADA bathrooms.
Well, a lot of that stuff is already defined in the planning and zoning, for numbers of parking places, depending on the occupancy flow. One of the things that perturbs me about, some of the issues that we've come across in the last few years, they don't care what the rules are, what the indication is. They bought the property, now they want to do this beyond what the property is really meant to be used for.
Right.
And they take particular offense to it that we don't allow them to build, we'll say, an art store in an area that's already prohibited. Okay, there are certain businesses that are prohibited in certain areas, or like within a certain distance of the church or a school or something, and there's prohibitions. And the whole idea behind this in the planning board is to shape the town into what you want, not demand and shoehorn your way into an area that is contrary to
But
what we
you're
want to
talking
do.
But we're
about
talking about
a
uses
place where-
that should be either allowed by right or by site plan review that require a special permit. It's just like, you're right, there's the under regulation and then there's also the over regulation.
There's gotta be a balance.
And we have a lot of space, we have a lot of uses in town that are over regulated. That's what I was getting at. Just the requirements
So
are.
again, that's what the public hearing process for ZBA is,
The site plan
and
review.
planning board, site plan review.
Right.
Right,
I can imagine, across the street, the historically, problem again, which it was
I
previously.
remember that.
There was no parking.
Right.
Yep.
There's no serviceable parking. I mean, the town was really amenable about it. They provided a whole bunch of parking places back here and
Friday
allowed
nights.
them
Right.
to use it.
Friday nights it was a zoo.
You know, I
Right.
mean, it's not like we're gonna be obstacles, but
No,
again, there's a
but-
difference between somebody,
there's a difference between somebody wants to open that place as a tavern again versus somebody wants to open that place up as a ice cream stand.
What?
Ice cream. You know, ice cream stand, no tables.
yeah, well, that's a whole different ballgame.
That's what I mean.
The
That's
traffic
where I
and
was-
clientele is different.
Right, that's what I'm
You
saying. We
need a
need
place for
to.
parking, or, you know,
Yeah,
off-street
But I
parking.
think those are the spaces.
Yeah,
we
But
need
you
to-
at least they're sober.
Yeah, but the throughput.
I mean, I don't know. I love ice cream, man.
The parking requirements for a bar where you're not gonna drink and go with an ice cream, your
you're right.
time is
There's a lot,
eternal.
that's more like, right.
Like
That's
a coffee
constant
shop.
flow-
Like a
constant
coffee
flow
shop,
transit.
you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out,
Right.
you're in,
You
you're
get
out.
a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah.
Which is what we want.
Right, that's
Exactly.
that's the point. Do we want the foot traffic? You know, do we want the foot traffic, or do we want, do we want to have these like Market Basket out there and Walmart up there and something down at the other end of town where you have to get in your car, you have to drive it, you know. It's Do we want a vibrant and thriving downtown, or do we want a dead downtown? And overregulation leads to a dead downtown.
Right, I mean, you're right, you need, it's a little bigger project than that. You wanna determine what you want and how do you get from point A to point B.
Correct.
Yeah.
And where's everybody gonna step up? It's either gonna be the planner that steps up,
Right.
the engineer that steps up, or it's gonna take, the town and the selectmen to step up and cough up some money to get certain things done.
Correct. Okay, so with that said, shall we adjourn and
Yeah.
move on at 7:15?